Okay, hey guys, we're live. Welcome to the Typical Skeptic podcast. We got my good friend with me, Missy Hill, and we're going to play the intro videos and get started. And everybody, and then,
welcome to Typical Skeptic
I don't know,
podcast.
it's playing the intro
Be sure to
twice for
like,
some reason.
subscribe,
Okay, there we go.
and turn on notifications.
Oh my God!
Let me play it again. Hold on, I'll play it again. This is hilarious. Tommy Edwards made this for me. Let me see if I can play it to where it like actually works. Like,
Welcome to Typical Skeptic podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Isn't it? That is great, right? Oh man! Thanks to Tommy Edwards for that one. Guys, I have my really good friend with me tonight, Missy Hill. We're going to be getting into 9/11 for the Nurse University of 9/11, the Charlie Kirk murder. We're going to get into paranormal and UFOs. We're going to get into Star Trek and Star Wars and all kinds of stuff. We have a big show lined up. Some of the hashtags for tonight are Charlie Kirk, Captain Kirk, Star Trek versus Star Wars, Transfiguration Path, Camelot, Orion Mintaka, Age of Aquarius, and MM3 Andromeda. So, you know, Missy's going to come with a lot of different stuff tonight and a little bit more. Closing out the night of all my shows tonight, we have returning guest and fan favorite Missy Hill. She'll join me live. Missy is a paranormal historian. She's a grid worker and a world traveler who's led tours at the Brown Mountain Lights in North Carolina and paranormal hotspots in Asheville, NC. We'll explore 9/11 tonight, the controversial murder of Charlie Kirk, Mandela Effect phenomena, and deep dives into UFOs, paranormal activity, and cosmic cycles. Missy always brings a mix of history, mysticism, and hard-hitting truths. And with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Missy, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm in a mood because, see, I've got my hat on. I'm like true self.
I love that.
I like this hat, and I'm wearing Baby Yoda because, you know, none of us are Master Yoda yet. We're all Baby Yoda. We're in training. And then because I'm a crazy kid, I've got my cat behind me. Because my other cat, he's over there, my real live one. He's like, you know, impossible to get him to sit still or anything like that. Because we're going to get into a little bit of heavy stuff. And this whole thing with Charlie Kirk, I'm going to get into this from a grid work perspective, not from that much about all the, you know, stuff everybody's heard, maybe a few things, but more how this is affecting the grids, the download that I got. But before we start, I've got my crystal bowl, and I really just want to play my crystal bowl.
That's awesome, yeah. Wow, that was amazing. Oh, she froze.
Everybody take a deep breath in and out. We all need a clearing on this day because of the way 9/11 has affected the grid. So everybody would say, well, why is the Charlie Kirk thing a sacrifice when it happened on 9/10? Because it's always within a 3-day window, give or take. And you have to remember, I actually posted this about Donald Rumsfeld. Actually, never forget, September 10, 2001, Donald Rumsfeld holds a press conference to state that the Pentagon was missing $2.3 trillion. So, you know, there's something weird about this, especially also with, you know, Elon Musk giving a lot of money. It just, you know, Kirk passes away, billionaire Elon Musk steps in, pledging to pay all living and educational expenses for Kirk's 2 children. This action not only helped Kirk family ease the burden during the time of grief, but also caused a big stir on social media. So, you know, all this stuff that's going on, why now? You know, how does it tie into the comet? But before we even get into any of that, I just want to put those pieces in. I want people to pause and remember where they were actually on 9/11. I mean,
I can tell you. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, yeah, I'll tell you. I remember exactly where I was. I was 21 years old, Missy. I was a student in college. I remember I just walked into Penn State New Kensington campus, which is like, you know, it's like a subsection of Penn State University, you know, and there was like a big screen TV in like the lobby. I was getting ready to go to my C++ class. Like, I never graduated college. I couldn't finish because student loans and stuff like that. But like, I was in school for information systems, so I was heading to my C++ class, and all of a sudden I saw on the TV. Well, I mean, that it was going on, but like at that point it had already happened. You know what I mean? Like, I woke up to the one plane flying into the building. Like, I saw it live. I saw it happen, like, or whatever. But they were replaying it over or something. I don't know. Or maybe it was the second plane or something, because at that point they would have been filming it. So then I went up to Penn State, and like everybody was watching it on the TV, you know, and everybody didn't know what was going on. And then I remember my teacher was like, you know, we don't know what happened. He's like, let's just move on with life. And my teacher just taught the class, you know, but like, it was an interesting, but I always love to hear where people were. Like, if you're in the chat, tell us where you were in 9/11. Kurt says he was in third grade homeroom. See, damn young kids, LOL. So you were in third grade then, Curtis. So I'm a lot older than you. I was 21 at that time. So what about anybody else? Where were you, Missy?
We were over the road as truck drivers. You know, those were the Art Bell days, so we were listening to Art Bell and things like that, right? So we happened to be in Cookeville, Tennessee, and we slept in the truck, and I didn't know anything. It was my parents that called me and then said, turn on the TV. So, you know, we were in shock, especially, you know, we didn't really register, you know, a lot of the fake footage and weird stuff that was going on with, you know, the buildings and how the demolition, how it actually came down, you know, when you don't sleep good, you're not necessarily, because let me tell you this, as a truck driver, you don't sleep good. You sleep terrible most of the time, you know, because you're up all night, you know, time until probably 4 in the morning at least. Most of the time the truck's moving. So, yeah, I remember we were in Cookeville, Tennessee, and then after that, we went to Nashville because we either had a pickup or a delivery in Nashville, Tennessee, and then from there we went to, Ron says we went to Bowling Green, Kentucky. He remembers. And then I don't remember about that, but I remember after that we headed out west. I do remember like going out west because what we used to do a lot is on I-40, we used to go Meteor Crater and stuff like this in Arizona. And I remember talking about this, probably the last show, that to me, that looks like where they possibly filmed the moon landings, you know, before it happened.
Wow. That's interesting.
So, and before 9/11 happened, I would have a bunch of dreams. I mean, for years I was having dreams of like rubble and like concrete and people being covered in like soot and ash, like all this, like if a bridge fell or like there was like somebody rolled around in concrete or dirt, like they drove a dump truck of dirt and they were just covered in white powder. I remember dreams of that, and then I happened to be staying at my grandmother's right after 9/11, maybe within a week or two after, because what happens is, you know, you might be in Cookeville, Tennessee, and then you go to Nashville, and then you go out to Arizona, and then you go to California, and then you get a load coming back to New York. And I remember like the security, the George Washington Bridge, and how bad it was to even try to go in New York if you had a truck, you know, and what you had to go through. And then we would park the truck in Bayonne because my grandmother lived in Westfield, New Jersey at the time. I thought Westfield is a really cute part of New Jersey, and I thought it was so cool that they actually had a Trader Joe's back then too. So I was happy about that. We used to do some hiking, but I was having dreams when I was staying in her house, and I was helping people cross over, like they were coming to me where they died, in the towers. They died, and they didn't know where they were, what was going on. So it's like I'm helping these people move on in my dreams.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
So, collective grief, because I remember when I had gone down to Florida, because we had family in Florida. Ron's mother lived in Florida at the time, and I remember getting a massage down there, and how after 9/11, I think that was like a month after it happened, and I just was bawling my eyes out. So if people are remembering these memories, let's play the bowl again, because we want to, identify, locate, remove any, and repair the grief and the implants associated with 9/11 timelines, like the timelines of failure and devastation and hijack, and the timelines of the Draco and the reptilians and Zetas and everyone that caused all the dark entities that actually caused this 9/11. They were the ones behind the boots on the ground human beings were actually infected with those dark overlords.
Yeah. As Indy would say, Stargate 12 type entities,
Stargate 10 entities, exactly. Arthur, are you saying hi? Would you like to be on the show, Arthur? He's so cute. So, yeah, all that was going on, and it was absolutely, horrific, and that gets buried in the cells of our body. I remember Greg Braden talked about, though, that it did actually affect, like, the collective heart chakra, where there was actually an opening, too, for compassion, because when you move through that grief and sadness, sometimes it can be like an opening to actually expand, which brings, and then I want to show Yoda again. Baby Yoda, because we are the baby.
That's cool.
Which brings to what I want to talk about now, Charlie Kirk piece, because the way it's affecting people, where that collective grief can actually bring about an expansion. I never really followed this guy. At first, it took me a minute to see who he was. Like I had to put his face with his name, because you can't follow everything. You get, it gets a little much. You know what I mean, Rob? With
Yeah.
And then one friend better watch. Called me and said, Charlie Kirk passed away. I'm like, who was that? I can't remember. But then I remember when I heard the name Kirk, and then I felt his energy signature, and the fact that he was 31 years old. I'm like, oh my God, this is so weird. With the 3-eye atlas, and 31 is like, oh my God, because it connects into Andromeda, M31 Andromeda. So let me tell you why I think this connects to 3-eye atlas too, and what the whole piece that is going on with that. The more resonance and updates and things that I get within myself about that. Indy actually did a great update, and I recommend everybody go listen to her update. But there's something about this comment or whatever it is when it's coming in that I think is a mirror in a way. It's opening a portal. So that way, whatever you resonate with, it's going to reveal that to you. So if you're resonating that this is Anunnaki, like, Terry Cassidy. Oh, that was a fabulous interview, by the way, with Terry Cassidy. And then I just heard one, too, that Nino did with Terry Cassidy and David Sereda. David is phenomenal with his numerical sequencing he's getting with that thing. But if you're feeling like Andromeda, if your station of identity is housed in Andromeda and your DNA strands are connected to that, you may feel that this has something to do with Andromeda, because I'm getting a big Andromeda piece around this because we fell out of our galaxy. The Milky Way was actually in the Andromeda galaxy. So we're in a fallen galaxy. Now, this whole thing that we're in is fallen. It fell out of Andromeda. So that's why when Charlie M31, I'm like, he's 31 years old, M31, and happening on the 10th. It's definitely a sacrifice, but on the higher levels, when I was feeling him, I'm getting his higher self is actually okay with it in a way. Now, not from this perspective, but from up there, it's almost like his higher identity, because we're the seasonal depiction of Virgo, and this is the harvest time. He's actually like helping humanity and the grid, like almost like an avatar, like a Christ. Now, I was like, when that information came in.
Yeah, he's helping people wake up and see how corrupt like some of these people are. Like the left is so corrupt, I mean, like, I tend to lean more conservative like you, but like, I never watched Charlie Kirk, but like I just assume he was a really good guy. And I see what you mean. He could be looking at this like, they could look at him as like a martyr to show the whole sadistic nature of how this left is and how poisonous they really can be, I mean, they're just disgusting, like honestly they are,
Yeah, he's like a martyr and a hero, and from the higher levels, this produced a lot of grief, but it's an opening, okay? So when I went outside last night, I felt like we were in a different timeline. It was like some kind of weird, eerie feeling with the sky, because we're in this eclipse window, and we've got this three-eye atlas coming around, and I'm like, what does this represent? And I was kind of getting on some level, and then I decided to put on a Ashiana Dean video, KDDL2, and there's some things in that video, when I've listened to this before, I listened about the Norway spiral, the Fermi thing, that, she kept mentioning Mintaka Orion and also 2027 a lot. I'm thinking, there's some kind of Mandela effect with this video, because I don't remember 2027. So, I turned it off, meditating and getting this whole piece that on some level, we were bought 2 years to get our shit together before 2028, because I'm getting, as 2028 and 2030 approaches, we've got a lot of garbage to get through as a collective humanity. I mean, we've got earth changes, and the message that came through very loud and clear was, work on your health. You'll be supported with this three-eye atlas to work on your health, to get rid of the inflammation in your body, to clear up your boundaries, with yourself, to let your yes be yes and your no be no, and all that stuff, and stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders like the god of Atlas. How the god is holding the planet. And that makes me think of a Marvel. I think what Marvel movie that was, where the whole planet is like a god, but like an atlas, and clearing Atlantean timelines. Indy gets into this thing about the Atlantean timelines and more about it, but about the atlas piece. But what I was seeing is, because right now, when people exit, say people decide to, they decide to leave their body and they pass. Where are they going to end up? I mean, my feeling is they could end up in the metaverse, and we don't want to end up in the metaverse. And we don't want to be recycled, with the moon and Saturn moon matrix and all this stuff, and have to get back in here and have memory wipe, or have our consciousness used as a battery in the metaverse. I mean, what do people think about that? Drop it in the chat if you have concerns about something like this, like where you're going to go when you leave here.
I know. Yeah, I am wondering about that. I worry about the soul trap, and I wonder, if that's real, and like, like it seems like it is, and I don't know, I'm wondering what happens if we don't go to the light, I wonder if the light pulls you in like a tractor beam and you don't have a choice, or you can try to, like, I've heard Yemi from the Farsight Institute say, when I saw her speak at the conference last year, she said there's astral pockets that, like, there's when you're being poured, when you're going towards the light, there's actually pockets you can slip through and go. But then where do you end up? That's what I'm saying. Like, do you become a ghost, or do you just go to another realm, or like I don't know. I wish we had people who could tell us, like, but nobody knows. I don't think we'll ever know. I mean, it's crazy, right? That's like the craziest mystery of this world is death. It's like.
I had an interesting talk tonight. Said, how come there aren't any dinosaur ghosts or even ghosts from, Jesus' time or, Roman times? We don't see them, right? Oh, I love the black kitty. I love it. Who is this? Oh my God.
Emma the Cat and Friends. She has her own channel. You got to check out her channel. She films all her animals. She has some McCovney ducks too, and she has a bunch of dogs and cats, and she's amazing. Emma the Cat. Yeah, she says she cannot stress how concerned she is about the issue you're talking about. To her, it's a big deal as well.
Can you bring me Arthur for a minute? Hold on. Yeah, at some point, bring me Arthur so he can say hi to everybody. Emma the Cat. Oh, that's so great. So I was getting that if we could stay as opposed to the Bardo pack, which is dropping the body. And let me explain what the Charlie Kirk piece has to do with this. Because when I heard the name Kirk, when I finally figured out who it was, I said, I remember when I decoded this Captain Kirk thing a few years back, thing about Star Trek versus Star Wars, because when you think of Star Trek, just the words, not the movies, but when you think of the words, you're trekking through the stars. You're not a warring consciousness. It's not Battlestar Wormwood and all this fighting, or the Dark Star and all this kind of stuff, right? You're trekking through. And the word Kirk is actually a Scottish word from Northern English, and the word Kirk actually means church. The term Kirk is often used informally to refer specifically to the Church of Scotland, and the Scottish National Church developed from the 16th century Reformation. Many places and personal names are derived from Kirk. And, Noco happens to be in Scotland right now. And I happen to be feeling some energy with Scotland, that there's some fallen grids there. There's some things going on that feel kind of dark, as opposed to Ireland. Like, as Albion is being reconfigured, because this Charlie Kirk piece, also Charles Kirk, King Charles, and Charleston. I actually happen to be on the grids of South Carolina again until, right after the equinox. And then I go back to Cherokee. We'll have to do a show when I'm in Cherokee.
How's the weather? How's the weather down in the Carolinas now? Is it nice and the ocean pretty good? Are you near the ocean? Yeah, Charleston's right on the ocean, right? Yeah.
I'm in Edison. To me, it's too warm. It's muggy and warm, but it's a lot nicer than it was. And in the mornings, it's very pleasant. So,
yeah.
I've only been to the beach a couple times, and I've been really busy. But maybe tomorrow I'll go. Today we actually went into Charleston, wanted to get adjusted, and had to run some errands, and wanted to go to Planet Fitness and stuff like that. But yeah, so Captain Kirk, remember Captain James Kirk, James Tiberius Kirk, which is interesting because Tiberius, from the character of Star Trek, is the Tiber River, derived from the Latin name for the Tiber River in Rome, is a traditional name that origins of ancient Rome associated with Roman Emperor Tiberius Claudius Nero. So yeah, that's interesting, and I know some people that are actually in Italy and Rome, and they have pictures of the Leaning Tower of Pisa and things like that, and somebody else I know is getting ready to go to Italy.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Athena Lau wants to know, is Athena in Star Trek anywhere? She says, is her name's Athena in Star Trek?
Say this again?
Athena Halal says, is Athena in Star Trek anywhere?
I don't remember.
I don't think so, Athena. I think we would. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So.
I know that too. I know in Athena she spells her name the Greek way. That's the traditional way, the way this Athena spells it. But I know an Athena that spells it with 2 E's. So
Yeah, I have a cousin named Athena too. She's Greek. Yeah, that's funny you said that. My cousin Athena is Greek. Yeah, that's cool. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, because my train of thought, because it's been a long day, so I have these notes that I want to get through. So James Kirk. So James was, in the Bible, and I got something about there's a Bible verse in James that might be important to this whole Charlie Kirk piece. And what I got that Bible verse is James 1:19. It's the reverse of 9/11. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. So with what's happened, I hope everyone takes a pause and doesn't react. We need to respond instead of react when we find out who did it, who funded it. And I don't even want to go there because, like I said, I'm looking at this more from this other perspective of Star Trek, Star Wars, and the grid. So what is the famous thing that you think of when you think of Star Trek? I think of Beam Me Up Scotty, right? Where our particles change to go somewhere else. So we take all of our particles with us. We're not astral projecting, like your body's here and you're just projecting a part of yourself out. You're actually transmuting all of your particles. You're getting beamed up. So what I saw when this happened with the Beam Me Up Scotty is now within, after we get through some of this astrological hurdles and we are going through the bumpy ride and adjusting to the age of Aquarius, maybe it's possible on a DNA level that the transfiguration path will become available again instead of the path of Bardo and dropping the body, which is the path of disease and death and reincarnation. Why not extending life through immortality and actually eternality, which is not the thing of necessarily the AI version or the darker version of, I don't know what people think about med beds. I mean, I think there's good and bad with that because where is that technology coming from? Who has developed technologies? You know what I mean? Or is this Ray, Zeta, Tech, Draconian, Anunnaki Tech? Who's put it out?
Yeah,
everybody thinks, but what about our technology? We are the living technology.
Yeah.
I think that's big.
Yeah, we're like living AI almost, right? Like we're like it's kind of like that. Like I don't know.
One thing that I found was interesting also is that Charlie Kirk is actually a Sabbath keeper. Okay, which means doesn't follow the Sunday worship like the Messianic Jews and the Seventh-day Adventists. And when somebody posted this, look at this color. See, there's this blue again, this blue frequency that keeps following me around in blue cars and trucks all the time. There's something about this blue ray that's coming in. So what the Sabbath also represents to me is a time of stilling all the noise. That's what it was about. It wasn't, the spirit of the Sabbath isn't like you're not allowed to cook and you're not allowed to turn on your lights or drive a car. That's like a legalistic version of, I'm not knocking it and I'm not, there's no judgment in whatever anybody wants to do. But it's really about, I think it's your mind having a way to get out of the world for a day, which automatically becomes you know, the Bible says a day is as 1,000 years, where we actually just need to, every day needs to become a day of rest for this monkey mind and monkey on the back. You know, so there's something about him talking about, you know, the Sabbath.
What happened? She froze. Can you guys see me? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, you're back. You're back. Sorry. You froze for a second. So I'm not sure what the last thing we heard was. Like,
I'll say it again. This picture here of Charlie Kirk, he says, the Sabbath keeps me grounded in God's design. And I was saying that what that's representing is Shabbat, you know, is what it is in Hebrew. It's a rest for the weary, the monkey mind, and getting the monkey off your back. Of that mind needs to rest. It needs to unplug from the 5G, from the geopathic stress, from the internet of things. You know, the internet of things, and go out in nature and commune with great spirit in nature. And that should be every day, but at least start with one day. You know, which Saturday represents Saturn. Saturn is mass. Saturn represents. I've always seen like Saturn as having a boundary or a container. Like if you were a plant and that plant was, you know, not ready in with all the other trees, it would be in its own boundary or container, and it would have to master that, and then its borders would get larger.
wow.
So Saturn is, you have to master Saturn, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's a hard taskmaster that actually rules Capricorn and Aquarius. And Sabbath kind of represents that, because Sabbath is Friday night, the day of Venus night, or the lovers, into Saturday, not the day of the sun, which, you know, you really should charge your batteries before the first day of the week, which is Sunday, right? If you look at it that way, I kind of Sabbath as battery charging day, where you need to charge your batteries. And then I already talked about Elon Musk, but what I also like to look at is where this guy was shot at the university, which is in Orem, Utah. And Orem is about 43 minutes from Salt Lake City, and about, I think it was like 10 or 15 minutes from Provo, and I've been to both places. I went to Salt Lake City when I was the truck driver, and what was interesting about that for me is because I went to a Barnes & Noble, and I might have told you this before, and I tried to get that book, the last book of Enki by Zechariah Sitchin in North Carolina. They didn't have it. Well, it fell off of the shelf when I was in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we went to the Mormon temple, and the whole town of Salt Lake City, it was so clean. And that's because the Olympics, I think it was like, said the Olympics had been there, and there was not one piece of garbage, and everybody was super friendly and everything. And when we went to the Mormon temple, everything is built Masonic, and they had a spot that it looked like it had like fountains and, you know, like a man-made river where it was modeled after Revelation 22. If you know something about, it says the tree of life and the river on both sides. I can't remember what the Bible verse was, but you actually feel like you're in like a movie script of the Bible when you are at the Mormon on those Mormon temple grounds. It was amazing, really.
Yeah.
But of course, when I look at this, I'm also seeing, because when anything is out west, I'm always referencing, well, Cedar City. I know some people that live there, and that Orem, Utah is 5 hours and 15 minutes from Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, so I don't know if you probably can't see that map. Yeah, I don't think you can see it, but trust me, it is. And it's on Highway 15. And when I, go look at this, and up from it is, Rachel, Nevada's not very far. And we just talked about Rachel, Nevada, and South Vegas is Henderson, Nevada, which is 11. And then if you, keep going through, all this ley line runs through Pahrump and goes over to Barstow. Barstow is on the border of California and Arizona, or Nevada, I think. Yeah, Nevada. And that is actually where I met Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi at a Flying J, and they were singing in a band called Have Love Will Travel. And what's weird about that is David Sereda actually brought up Dan Aykroyd on the other show that I was listening to, that he made some movie about Dan Aykroyd like 25 years ago. And Dan Aykroyd used to bobtail his truck to Hot Springs, North Carolina, where the hot springs were, and we used to camp out in our truck there. And when we would bring our truck to the hot springs and we would bobtail, not in a car, they thought we were Dan Aykroyd. So when I met Dan Aykroyd, I told him about, Hot Springs, North Carolina, and that whole story I just told you, and his eyes lit up.
That's amazing. You met Dan Aykroyd? I didn't know that.
I thought we talked about that before, because I thought we talked about Trading Places at one point, how you loved that movie.
Yeah, I love a lot of Dan Aykroyd's movies. I love that, and Dragnet was. I loved so many Coneheads, and I met him online. I think he follows me on Facebook, and I think it was the real Dan Aykroyd, because he messaged me, and I was like, "Wow, it's an honor to have you follow me." And he was like, "Don't tell. I shouldn't be saying this." He was like, "I don't follow." He's like, he said he watches a lot of videos in the community, but he said I didn't want to. I shouldn't have even said that. I shouldn't have said anything. I just basically told. Yeah, he said for me not. Yeah. Anyway, but you met him in person. That's amazing.
And Jim Belushi.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Flying J, which is a truck stop in Barstow, California.
Wow, that's amazing.
Always where we would fuel up, and there was a Del Taco there. We would go get Del Taco, and then there was a Starbucks and like a sushi place, to get like a vegetarian sushi, like a takeout. So this would be our stopping point to go to Flying J and to go to these places and get something to eat, because we used to like Del Taco.
I've never had that. I've heard a lot about it though, right? That's a West Coast thing, right? Del Taco?
There was one in Columbia, South Carolina for a while, and then it went away. I was sad that it went away. But then there was one that was in, I think it was Wyoming. Ron, where was Taco Time? Was that Wyoming, or was that? Wyoming. Oh, this one Taco Time was so great. They would put sunflower seeds in their bean burritos. It was delicious. Yeah, that was near a Sinclair gas station, and that's when I loved Super Walmarts, because Super Walmarts had organic vegetables. When you're in the middle of nowhere, where are you going to go shopping? It's like, yeah, Super Walmart. When you're in the truck, you can sleep in a Walmart parking lot as a truck driver.
That's cool. Yeah. Wow. well.
And then we went to the art box for today because Ron had to get his glasses. This picture, it reminded me of the desert. See this plant? I don't know if you can even see this.
What is that? I can't see it hardly that well.
Aloe
It's interesting. Thing. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah. And then somebody else said that somebody wrote a book about this shooting. And somebody, this was on social media, we don't know if it's true. And somebody honestly, because I haven't vetted all these things, but anyway, can somebody explain to me how a book titled The Shooting of Charlie Kirk, a comprehensive account of a Utah Valley University attack, the aftermath, and America's response, was published on Amazon on September 9th, and the event took place on September 11th, which makes me think we really are in a matrix, and this is a false flag. I mean, it feels like false flag, but like I said, on a higher level, I get he's okay with it. He's like an angelic being, like the monadic spirit, helping humanity connect with the higher monad of the planet, like people waking up to their monadic self if they choose, because we always have a choice. And you know what? We have a cat on our deck. We have a black and white cat, I think, that is outside on our deck, Ron. Wow. I think I just saw a black and white cat, yeah. Go look and see if we did. And would you bring me Arthur? So what are people saying in the comments? So the other thing, Rob, you're also...
Everybody's talking about Del Taco. He made everybody hungry for tacos, I think. You know?
Blanket, not great. I went to Family Dollar and got this blanket. It's Halloween, but anytime there's anything to do with cats, of course, I have to see the cats. I have to get it because it has Arthur in it. It has Kombucha, who's the black cat, and then the white cat girls, which is Opal and Ophelia, that are in my life. Rob, it's so dark I can't see you.
You can't see me? Oh, I have my light on. I mean, let me put it forward closer. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. So guys, like, put your comments in the chat, like what you think about the Charlie Kirk murder. If you have any questions about or any comments about 9/11 or anything we talked about, like paranormal, grid work, you know, anything esoteric you guys want to talk about, we can funnel in some questions and you know, whatever's on your mind, guys. You put them in the chat and we'll answer your questions or about anything. You could put it in about anything paranormal. I don't like to get too much into politics, guys. You know what I mean? This is a more paranormal show, so let's try to keep the comments paranormal, you know, or UFO related. You know what I mean? But we can dip into the Charlie Kirk stuff. But like, I like how Missy tied it into like the esoteric. Like, I like how you tied the esoteric into the Charlie Kirk thing. You know, that was really interesting. You know, hi Arthur. Hi Arthur. Good to see you, buddy. Hi Arthur. Oh, he's such a good boy.
Hyper right now, so I wanted at least him to say hi. Yeah, so that was the main piece that I got, and like I said, I feel this window of opportunity opening up and how it connects to this comet and what this comet could be bringing in, whether it's, you know, DNA. Now, it could bring viruses, it could bring bacteria, it could bring fungus. I mean, I think mushrooms came in on the comet, you know, that's what I think, but we don't know. I also want to show my Viking shield because we need to have our shield up.
Oh, that's cool.
My shield.
Oh, that is so cool. That is really cool.
Yep. I thought so. And I've got new cards here, and I've got my Marsuya moto cards because Indy was talking about the waters, and I always feel like we need to be reprogramming the waters. So I was going to pull some of these Marsui Emoto cards, and before we do that, I thought we could do a few Ho'oponoponos for this, because then we need forgiveness, which is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. So in your mind, just, you know, say, Ho'oponopono, 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 and feel the frequency of that, because, you know, we're involved in it, even though we didn't do it, just by nature of the fact that we have to witness it, you know, that there's a victim and a victimizer, and we want to be kind of the compassionate, neutral witness of this whole thing and go above it to where I feel that he is, which is like I said, Charles, the King Charles. I know what I had to talk about with this whole King Charles, and, you know, how it ties into Scotland, Ireland, all these different things. I get that something is trying to sabotage the return of Arthur and Albion. There's a force that wants to sabotage the return of Camelot, which is what I feel like we're destined for. We're destined for the rise of Arthur. And I mean, that's why Arthur's name is Arthur. We're destined for the rise of Camelot, and something is trying to sabotage that and to not lose hope, even though in the physical, things are going to get worse before they get better. But from a grid perspective, this is like an opening where, you know, the transfiguration path will become available. I don't know if that means exiting through the sun. I don't know, but there's something about the way Earth lines up with Mintaka Orion and M31 Andromeda. And I know this blue color has something to do with the sphere and the staff of Amente, this blue flame, this frequency of blue, which I call like the truth serum. It's to clear the throat chakra, to clear the thyroid. That blue resonates, goes up, and becomes indigo into the third eye, into this ultraviolet light, okay, and into this blue ice color. The other spectrum, root chakra, becomes the infra pink, which is to clear the death seed atom in the tailbone. Okay, where I think it's called the body cell. I can't remember some of this terminology, but it's like where a lot of these implants and like the seed of contention, the shell of contention is housed energetically around the tailbone, but not in the physical, like in another dimension where our tail was. You know, if we had a tail, at our tailbone, the coccyx. I don't know if anybody's ever had tailbone falls. I had a bunch of them where I would like fall on my tailbone. Okay, what are these comments saying now?
Oh, that's Coley. That's my new podcast partner. She's in the chat. She says, "Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share." But we didn't get. I mean, we've got a lot of comments, but I didn't know which ones to put up. Like someone thought that people were talking about the sun being a portal, and then someone said maybe the Charlie Kirk thing was a hologram. I don't know. So nothing. Michelle Petra says, "What about all the innocent kids dying now?" Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
It's awful. It's hard to even know if it's real, but I'm just saying I'm getting it from a gridwork perspective and from this thing of like beam me up, Scotty, and not participating in Star Wars. We don't want to be at war. When we go to the stars, we want to be a type 1 civilization, not like a type 0 or whatever we are now. We're like a nothing, even though the SSP, we don't see what's really going on. There's things being sent we don't even know. I mean, we know some of the stuff we have, like Lockheed Martin, stuff like that, but I don't go there too much because I don't have proof of these things. You know what I mean? Although I've seen it through the night vision, and now when I look at UFO, UAP activity, I say, it's probably secret space program, most of it.
Yeah, I would say so. Because like Courtney Brown says, it's like Star Wars up there. To kind of like come full circle on what you're saying. Courtney Brown says if you get like infrared, and this, like from like you're doing because you have the UFO night vision. Do you see as like that? Because Courtney Brown says there's a lot of stuff going on up there. Like, would you agree with that, or what do you think?
I'm not seeing as much, but you have to be looking regularly, and because my neck bothers me, I don't, unless I can like lie down and I move around so much, but I used to do a lot, and I look at what Jason does. Jason's doing enough for all of us, and he's getting weird drones and all kinds of weird stuff going on. But Ed Grimsley, before he passed away, when I met him back in 2009, when Joshua brought him to the radio station in Asheville, and we did a night vision gig, he said he saw wars up there through the night vision, like space wars.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's that's insane. I think Jason in the chat thought you meant him. What's the Jason's name that is getting this UFO footage?
My Jason is Jason Srirachi, the one that lives in Nevada, that you're following on Instagram.
Yeah. UFO
footage. But anyway, these are the Matsui Emoto cards, and we want to reprogram the waters of our body, as well as what's called the mud force, the liquids, and the underground water. You know, the ocean water, the streams, the rivers, the waterfalls, the underground springs, all the water needs to be programmed for the highest good, cleansed and cleared, to bring in organic living light codes. So I get one, happiness. We definitely need happiness.
Definitely, yeah.
And Ron, where do you want yours? Tell me which side.
Middle. Or should I do side? Yeah, middle. Something's telling me middle.
Ron said he knew it. He's psychic. Love for humanity, Rob. That's wonderful.
I have a lot of love for humanity. That makes sense. Yeah.
Does anybody else want a Matsui Emoto card, Dr. Emoto?
Would anybody like a card reading? Let me see here. There's a comment about the Charlie Ward stuff. This is Maya Starfire. Good to see you, Maya. She says, the topic is so crazy. I was just in Utah the day before he got shot doing grid work across America from Cali to Virginia and was in Vegas. And I found out, I heard about that, Maya. I heard you travel doing the grids. That's amazing that you're out there doing that. I hope you're staying safe out there. And, good job being out there, working the grids on the road. She's like you, Missy. She's working the grids,
I heard you said Charlie Ward. He passed away too. I know you meant Charlie Kirk, but I remember Charlie Ward when he used to do shows with Simon Parks way back years ago with the white hat stuff.
Yeah. This is a comment from Pilgrim Society. He says, I have a red orb I filmed on my channel. I also have a big giant craft. Wow, I'd like to see that. Film 5 orbs in a line hovering over the ocean bear near Hilo, Hawaii. That's pretty cool.
Reference.
Wow.
We need to have more reverence for life, that's for sure, because people take life for granted. This is just awful the way some of these people are like celebrating this man's death. It's just sick. Sick people,
Kirk says he would like a reading. He says, I would like one if it wouldn't be too trouble. He said, what kind of reading is it? He said, I'm sorry, he's cleaning some things up, he said.
Well, right now I'm getting for him kindness for his brain halo. It's about balancing his brain, but I'm going to get out these other cards. These are actually for Ron, but it's called the Weird Tarot.
Oh, I love that. That's cool.
You're gonna love
yeah.
Look at this. Look how colorful. I feel the colors.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's amazing.
That cat? Ron, did you see that cat? No. Yeah, there was a cat on our deck.
That's awesome.
No, it was a cat. No, it was a cat, not a raccoon.
Do you think he came to play with Arthur? Do you think they know each other?
They might. I don't know. I mean, we have a cat that comes around that we call Oreo once in a while. Okay. Who's this for?
This is for Kirk.
Okay. I got for him the balancing of the brain, which is Hato, and then I got the Lover's card, which is about balancing the masculine and feminine within the cell. That's like integration of masculine and feminine, hierogamic union within the cell and within the brain, with the hemispheres of the brain, right and left hemisphere of the brain.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, those cards are awesome. I love those. How many decks would you say you have, Missy? Do you collect decks, would you say?
I have a lot of decks. I don't know a lot.
That's
I
cool.
love decks. I love them.
I do too. Yeah. This next one's from Entertainment Extreme Network. He says, "Can I have a gen reading?" I don't know what a gen reading is. General reading. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do one of each. Let's start with the Morsuyamoto autonomic nerve halo. So this is for the nervous system, and I'm going to say to this person, make sure you hydrate. Where does this person live? Can they tell me?
I'm not sure where Entertainment Extreme Network lives. Where do you live, Entertainment Extreme Network? Let me see. He didn't answer. He says New Mexico.
They live in New Mexico? Okay. Because I was picking up dry climate. I was picking up desert. So I'm getting electrolytes. Need electrolytes? That's why the nervous system needs, help. I mean, not help. That's not the right word, but support. Okay, so Celtic salt, and this, of course, not diagnosing, treating, or prescribing. This is a theoretical practice for entertainment and educational purposes only. But, I mean, I've been doing a lot of electrolytes lately. I mean, we all need it. 6 of Pentacles. This is saying, Pentacles are strawberries in this. And I don't know why I'm getting things about food, but liquid, work with the color red, fruit, strawberries, raspberries, something in berries, antioxidants, and a 6 being, kind of like 6s is like Star of David type of energy, like sending different points out. So different facets in the physical. I mean, I'm not that familiar with these, but it feels like a very harmonious card. So I feel a lot of harmonious energy with this person as long as they feel supported. If they feel supported, they're going to create the harmony that they need in their life, but they have to work on their physical, support of their physical body, because it is a Pentacles card, which is a physical card. Cover all the basics physically.
Okay, I'll move to the next one. This one's from Linda Wagner. Linda Wagner would like a reading. She says, I would love and appreciate a card if you feel drawn.
Okay. Eternity in this one, and the color blue stands out, so I think she's already working with this blue ray, this aqua blue. I don't know where she lives. I love when people would tell me where they live, because I tune into the grids when they tell me where they are right now, where they're either living or where they are. So if they can drop that in, that helps me tune into their frequency better, because I pick up from a grid working. I'm always thinking about the land. So that aqua blue color, I don't know if she's near the ocean, and 10 of Pentacles. So again, the physical level, but she's reaching a completion on some physical level of maybe where she is. I don't know if she's getting ready to move or something new is ready to come in. This is like boots on the ground sort of life review where you're able to look at what you've been doing and you can decide you want to take that to the next level. That's what's going on with her. And I love the three cats there. It's got the pink, the blue, and the green. Those are good colors.
Wow, that was amazing. I hope that resonates with you, Linda. And let me see if there's any more. There's an interesting one here. There's let me see here. This is from David K. from Pittsburgh, from my hometown. He says, how about a reading for a real skeptic and doubter in Pittsburgh? That's funny. Like, what are you so skeptical about, David? I'd love to know. Like, because I know the things I'm skeptical about, but like, okay.
Okay, well, I would say for him to get out of Pittsburgh and go to the rainforest, go to where there's some nature, go to the mountains.
That's a good point.
That's going to be, you don't have to be skeptical or not skeptical. Go where there's, you can help them there, Rob, because I don't know. You know what I love in Pennsylvania? Did we have the discussion that Luray Caverns is in Pennsylvania?
He says he's skeptical about everything, or he says he has a physics background. So he's like a mainstream science type, I guess, Okay. There's no reason why mainstream science can't mix with the esoteric, though, That's what it should be, I don't know.
Three of Swords. His mind and his heart fight each other. Because he's got the Three of Swords. He's got to get his mind and his heart in alignment where he can either lead with his mind or his heart, but they're not in alignment. You want your mind, your heart, and everything in vertical, like alignment, where it all lines up. And don't be so hard on yourself. Go ahead and trust your heart too, and your gut, your heart, and your mind. You don't have to just be all up here.
Yeah.
Anybody else? It's 11:11. Make a wish. Everybody make a wish. Take a minute and just let's.
That's 11:11.
Ready, go. Oh.
That was amazing. This was a great show, Missy. This was a really good show. This was good.
Yeah, we all want to go to a higher level. So what we want to do is pay attention to this next week, see what else comes in to the new moon equinox. And then after that, we're going to gear up for Samhain, which will be when the comet is coming around. And, it's just I think we've got a wild ride from now until the end of the year.
I want to do a Halloween show for sure, Missy. Like, I definitely want to schedule some. I mean, if you want to do a show before that, we can, but I definitely want to do a Halloween show with you. And then also I wanted to let you know I'm having a Halloween party this year too. It's online, obviously. It'll be, I'm not sure. I think I might do it on Devil's Night, the night before Halloween. And then, we'll just get a bunch of people to come. I think Coley's going to help me organize it, and like, it'll just be like, it'll be a great turnout, like hopefully a lot of different people will come, this year. And, so that'll be, I do it every year, I like to,
Does anybody else have comments before we go? And then maybe if you want to do one when I get to Cherokee, how does that sound? That's where we did the first show. I was at the casino in Cherokee, the first show we did.
Yeah. Yeah, David, I just want to let you know, thank you for your nice comment, David. He said, very good reading. Thanks. That's nice of you, David.
Thank you. Remember to buy Rob a coffee, you guys. Buy him a couple coffees. I've done it. When,
I can put the link in the description, yeah.
Ray's on. Was Ray on today, too?
No, Ray wasn't on today. He didn't come on for 9/11. You know, he was on the other day. His book came out, which he featured me in his book. I was really honored. You know, his book's called Let's Go Off Planet, and he featured me in it. You know, it's crazy. Like I feel really honored to be in his book. You know, I'm in it a lot. He based his book off his podcast appearances on my show. You know, I was like, holy shit. You know, so you know, like it's I don't know. Yeah, but this was amazing, Missy. Yeah.
It's fun as always. I always enjoy doing this. Oh, I got to show you something else. We all live in the yellow submarine.
Oh, that's cool. That is so cool. Where'd you get that at? That's really cool.
When I had all this Beatles stuff coming in 2013, everything was like a Beatles download, and I decorated the pink room with like Beatles and Grateful Dead stuff in the old house.
Wow. That's awesome.
I have a friend that says it's kind of like the Yellow Submarine is a key. Like in Egypt, you know, when you see pictures of the ship, you know, going down the Nile, but they're actually like in Peter Pan, where they're going into the sky, you know, because they're crossing the Milky Way waters or whatever, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt says you could paint it white and take the fins off, and it would be like the Tic Tac UFO. You know, it could be he said it could be a retrofitted Tic Tac UFO. You know.
But it's a lot cuter this way.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, this was awesome. Yeah. So we'll do a Halloween show, and yeah. What is that? Oh, is that a crystal skull? That's amazing.
Yes.
Wow. That's a nice one. Where'd you get that? Wow.
We got this in North Carolina. Let me ask Ron, because I'm not remembering if we got it with at the Silver Eagle in Highlands, maybe. I think we did.
Wow.
It's hematoid, which is hematite with quartz makes it turn this color.
That is so cool. Yeah.
Where did this come from? Oh, it came from Madagascar. So we got that at Enter the Earth. In Asheville, there's a store in the Grove Street arcade called Enter the Earth. And it came from Madagascar, Africa.
Wow, that's so cool. That's wow. So I guess was there anything else you wanted to talk about today before we go, Missy?
No, just that we are going to get together. We seem to do this I don't know, has it been about every 10 days lately? That's been pretty cool. It's been great. I feel like I've jumped in through a lot of things and every time we do it, I'm in a different location. Like I was in Georgia, and then I was in Fletcher, and now I'm in Edisto, and next time I'll be in Cherokee.
Wow.
And
where's Cherokee? Is that North Carolina?
North Carolina. I'm probably going to be in North Carolina the rest of the year. And then with the energy that's coming in, it makes sense. I mean, when I leave here, I may not be coming back here for a while until after the first year. I don't know. Ron will be coming up there.
I was telling someone the other day that I would like to move to the Carolinas. I think the Carolinas are beautiful. I love them. You know, I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time in the Outer Banks, and then I was in Wilmington, North Carolina. And then I was also in Charleston, South Carolina as well. You know, like Folly Beach. You know, like around that area and stuff. And like, yeah, I love it. I love the Carolinas. I think it's one of the most beautiful places on the earth. You know,
I still
it's
get that grid work thing done. I want to do the grid work, Fort Sumter and in Charleston, and I want to do the vortex tours in North Carolina, and then at some point I want us to do the Skywatch, you know, Rachel, Nevada. I'm not going to say Area 51 because we can't go there, but Rachel, Nevada, Boulder City, Nevada, all those places, and I even know where there's some hot springs out there.
I might be going close to the West Coast at the end of the month. I might be taking a trip out to like Wisconsin, believe it or not, which I don't want to say why yet, but I mean, I booked my flight today, but I mean, I'm going, yeah, I'm going to Wisconsin to see someone, to visit someone. And I don't, yeah.
I was going to ask you, whatever happened with the Mothman thing? I don't think I'm going to be back in time. It doesn't sound like you're going to be there anyway this year.
I don't think I'm going to be able to go because I'm taking this trip. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, but I mean, yeah, I would like to go. You know, well, I'm going to my Pittsburgh UFO meeting Sunday, and so I'm going to ask people there if anybody's going. If I can hop in and get a ride with some people, you know, I might go just to see if it, you know, how it is. But like, you know, I'm going to kind of get the vibe at the UFO meeting and see if there's a lot of people going or what's going on with that, you know. So I'll know more Sunday, you know.
Yeah, one of our hip campers that's coming, she lives near the New River Gorge. So New River Gorge is not that far from, you know, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. You know, she's not that far from it at all. You know, I'll have to ask her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, do you want to tell everybody where they can follow you, Missy, and all that stuff? And thank you for doing this. I always enjoy having you on. This was awesome. I really like this.
Oh, let me show you this. When I went to that Bigfoot expedition, look what's going to end up going in the car to smell good. It's a Bigfoot air freshener.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool. I love that. Like, that is so cool. Where did you get that? Can you get those online? I might want to get one of those. Like,
the place called Expedition Bigfoot when I was in Georgia. I got a bunch of little trips, including tomorrow night we're going to watch David Paulides Missing 411. Wow.
Oh, that's a good one. Are you watching the UFO one? There's the last one was the UFO one. It's called David Paulides Missing 411, the UFO phenomenon or something like that. You know, I think there's a couple of them, but the last one deals with the UFO. Yeah.
I'm not sure which one I got for Ron, but we're going to watch that tomorrow. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Yeah.
That store has all kinds of cool stuff. That was a really fun thing. So where people can find me is the best place is just on Facebook and Instagram and X. I'm not even seen. Nobody. I mean, I'm on X, but nobody even knows that I'm there, and nothing happens on X. Like, because if it's not sensationalism, then just forget it. I don't. It's just. But anyway, I'm there, but mainly Facebook and Instagram, and then my email is Hill, Hill, Night, Nite, Vision, VISION, @gmail.com, hillnightvision@gmail.com. Also, you know, if people are interested in private session work for themselves and for their animals, I'm your girl that does it with the quantum infinity, and then I tune in with the readings and some basic astrology.
That's awesome. Yeah. And book a session with Missy, guys. Honestly, yeah, that's awesome. And support the guests, you know, because they make the show, you know, and it's great people like you, Missy, that make this show. So thank you. I really appreciate it. This was an awesome show.
You're doing it wrong because I'll tell you when a download comes in by me sharing it, it anchors it within me. Because last night, the information that came up, I felt like I couldn't even sleep. It's like I was kept out of the astral plane. I was not allowed to sleep. I don't think I fell asleep till 4 or 5 in the morning. And lately I've been sleeping pretty good. And that was very disturbing. Like, I guess somebody didn't want me to go to sleep last night, so I didn't.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I was going through some of these. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been sleeping either. I haven't been sleeping hardly at all, you know? And then I sleep during the day. I know. Yeah. That's what's happening with me. You know, I don't know. But,
With the magnetotail too, that's something to do with the energy of the sun and things like that, that there's less interference at night, and that's why, you know, you're up all night getting downloads and things like that, and you can sleep during the day. It's something kind of magnetic, I don't know, something on that. Yeah, my brain can't talk anymore. I'm like, ooh.
no, this is amazing. I had fun. Thank you, Missy. And yeah, we'll do another show soon with Missy, guys. But tomorrow, I think I have shows with Coley. So I think I have 2 tomorrow. If tomorrow's Friday, I think. Wait, let me just check. Tomorrow is Friday. So yeah, we have 2 shows with me and Coley tomorrow. So check out those guys. And I think it's in the evening time. And I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. And thank you, Missy. And have a good night, everybody.